I wanted to just talk about the concept of time is money in this process. I come from Ohio and have, only been in the Senate for 10 weeks, and I've viewed the federal government from afar, and things seem to take so much longer. I will give you an example. This is not directly related to the Department of Transportation, but broadband. Passed a bill in Congress 2021 about rural broadband. Still nothing has been built. We passed a law in the state of Ohio to do rural broadband with state money. We built it in 2 years. All by basically saying, this is what we want. You bid on it, you deliver it, you do it in a time frame. And in preparation for this conversation this morning, I was looking, how long does it take to get a new exit on a highway? Well, 5 to 15 years, but if you look at it, it's usually towards 15 years. How long does it take to build a new bridge? 7 to 20 years typically is more closer to 20 than it is 7. What is it that you're doing to institutionalize, to look at how we can deliver this faster, and how can we help you?
So first of all, Senator, thank you for the question, and welcome to the Senate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
There you go. So far, with these delightful colleagues, it's been wonderful.
Listen, you make an incredibly important point. And I think Senator Whitehouse made the point that in China, other places in the world, they build their infrastructure so much faster. And we have decades of laws and rules and regulations that make it really complicated to build. And so what we've done right now at the department is there's requirements that are put on funding that is sent in the bill that we have to actually do. But I've asked, let's take out all the other requirements that we're putting on from the department so we can build projects faster. I think we are going to work on NEPA reform in this administration. I know that all of the body bipartisan wants to work on regulation reform as well. Again, we can protect the environment and move projects faster. We're not doing it smartly. And so I think it's going to be a whole of government. We all, I think, are recognizing what sounded like a good idea at the beginning has now becoming a weight around our neck as we try to build infrastructure. And so I would look forward to working with you on what we're going to do at the department, what you all can do in the Senate. And if we do that, again, instead of taking 10, 20 years, we could take 3 to 5 years to build out these projects.
So I'm going to ask you about being intentional about it. Is there anybody's job inside the department to figure out how we're going to go faster?
So what's important for the department is to streamline the process for the states, right? To take off as much of the weight as possible so they can build faster and spend more time turning dirt and less time doing paperwork. And so we are at the department doing that part. But there's some requirements that the Congress has put on us that we include in these agreements that states have to comply with. But offering more flexibility to states who have, I think, a more vested interest in moving these projects faster, I think is a key part of this as well. And I think Texas has been a great example of, delegating authority to Texas and seeing them move more quickly on projects.
Well, we have the rules and regulations in place to protect people, to protect the environment, to make the process more accountable. The delays end up costing the taxpayers more, not less, because of inflation and other consequences of the delays. But as a competitive item for this nation, I just take 3 things that happened in the last 4 years: rural broadband, charging stations, the CHIPS Act, how long it takes the money to get out the door for the construction to go, while China is innovating. Nuclear power plant. You go through the list of how long it is taking us as a nation to literally get government money out the door, to build the things we say we need to compete and defend ourselves for our economic and national security. It takes longer and longer. And I would argue that these rules and regulations are at the expense of Americans, that their health, for example, if we know that there is a traffic issue that's a safety issue and we take years to get it accomplished, people are dying, people's lives. It's not good for the environment if you have to. All of these things add up. I just share that and urge you to help us.
I look forward to working with you. Time is money. We saw with the inflation over the last 4 years that these projects have become so much more expensive because they didn't move more quickly. And I would just, if I could take one moment and just,
Yes, go ahead.
the cost of a whole project, upwards of 40% of the cost is complying with the rules and regulations. We're not turning dirt, we're not building bridges. We're actually giving this to consultants, money to consultants, as we try to go through the regulatory process. And I think if the American people knew that, they'd be outraged. They want their bridge. Put the money in. By the way, if we streamline that process, it's not 40%, it's maybe 15%. That means we build more bridges, we build more roads, you get more projects, and Americans are happier, which is what we want. Happy America.
Yeah,
Less regulation.
Yeah. Every time you have a compliance officer or an attorney, that's one less construction worker or engineer you're employing.
100%.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, I'm turning slowly to